The Detroit Lions just dropped a bombshell that could completely change the course of this Sunday's match against the Cincinnati Bengals. Updates on the team's medical department have just been released, and believe me, the list of uncertainties is long. We're talking about key players, names that could determine whether the Lions will continue their momentum this season or face serious turmoil right now, just as the team is beginning to solidify its position as one of the most dangerous in the conference. And the most impressive thing is that the news comes in a crucial week against the Bengals desperate for recovery. But before we reveal all the details of these updates and the players who may be out, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because here you'll get all the latest no-nonsense information about the Detroit Lions. And let's get straight to the point. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero confirmed that defensive tackle Alim McNeill is out of action. He's still recovering from off-season knee surgery and remains on the list of players physically unable to play. This absence is a heavy blow to Detroit's defensive line, which was already forced to rotate players and adapt its strategy without one of its pillars. McNeill's importance isn't just statistical, it's technical. He's the anchor that brings balance to the defensive front, and his absence against an offense still trying to find its feet but boasting explosive weapons like Ja'Marr Chase could prove costly. But McNeill isn't the only problem. The most concerning situation involves two starters who were listed as questionable for the matchup: left tackle Taylor Decker and safety Kerby Joseph. And this is where the story gets even more tense. Joseph in particular has been a monster in the Lions secondary. In just 4 games this season, he's already racked up interceptions, tackles, and game-changing tackles. His presence downfield has been crucial to the defense, which has secured 3 consecutive victories. Just remember, by 2024, Joseph had already built an incredible reputation with 83 tackles and no fewer than 9 interceptions, making him one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Losing or even limiting the field time of a player of his caliber against Joe Burrow, even if he's not 100%, is a huge opening for the opponent. And if the defense struggles, the offense isn't free from uncertainty either. Taylor Decker, the veteran responsible for protecting Jared Goff's blind side, is an absolutely vital asset. He's not just a protector, he's the safety who keeps the passing game going and also paves the way for the running game. Without Decker, the Lions' entire offensive dynamic could change. And against the Bengals team that will enter the field stung after 2 consecutive losses, any weakness in the line could be exploited mercilessly. Imagine Goff under constant pressure with no time to exploit his weapons while Cincinnati's defense plays for survival. That's the real risk Detroit faces this Sunday. On the other side, the Bengals come into the game with a huge weight on their shoulders. The team is 2-2, coming off a humiliating 28-3 loss to the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. The pressure on Joe Burrow is only increasing, especially since the quarterback hasn't been able to play at his best since his toe injury in Week 2. At various points, the offense has had to be led by backup Jake Browning, and this has completely disrupted the team's rhythm. Cincinnati is playing at home, with its fans demanding an immediate response, which makes this matchup even more explosive. The Lions arrive riding a convincing 3-1 record, including a dominant 34-10 victory against the Browns last week. It was in this game that Kerby Joseph shone once again, with decisive tackles and another interception to his name. That's precisely why his presence or absence is one of the biggest keys to the matchup. If Joseph can't play, Burrow could have breathing room and pursue his connections with Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, which completely changes the scenario. Now think about it. Detroit is in a moment of affirmation. Dan Campbell's team is no longer seen as just a sympathetic underdog. The team has become a real contender, and each week is proof that the Lions are legitimate. But without McNeill, with Decker injured and Joseph on the ropes, this game against the Bengals could turn into a much tougher battle than it seemed. It's the kind of matchup that could determine whether the Lions continue their climb to the top of the NFC or stumble against a wounded opponent. The stage is already set. Paycor Stadium, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, broadcast on Fox. The Bengals are desperate, the Lions are tested by injuries. And now I want to hear from you. Even with these absences and significant doubts, do you believe Detroit has the right roster to win in Cincinnati? Or could the absence of these starters be the turning point for the Bengals to regain their confidence? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
The Detroit Lions have just become the talk of the NFL with a development few expected. Even though they're enjoying a strong season, boasting a positive record and exciting fans, the team is already looking to the future in a way that demonstrates how much the front office and coaching staff are thinking big. Yes, we're talking about a 7-round mock draft just after the first month of the season, an exercise that reveals not only the potential needs of the roster, but also the type of talent Detroit might seek to solidify its rise. And I'll warn you, there are picks here that could surprise, excite, and even divide opinions. Before delving into the details of this round-by-round mock, like the video and subscribe to the channel, because here we follow the Lions' every move, both on the field and behind the scenes, in decisions that could completely change the franchise's future. The first major decision projected in this mock draft comes with the 29th overall pick, where the Lions would select Oregon edge Matayo Uiagalelei. This name isn't new to those who closely follow scouting, but he's drawn attention due to his impressive production. 18 pressures and 4 sacks in just 5 games this season, in addition to having recorded 31 pressures and 9 sacks in 2024. Uiagalelei was already on the radar of Detroit scouts, who were even seen scouting Oregon in the first few weeks of the year. The point is simple. The Lions know they need to bolster their pass-rushing rotation, even with Aiden Hutchinson being the star of the defense. And if there's one thing Brad Holmes has shown in recent years, it's that he's not afraid to invest heavily in players who could be crucial in the long term. Uiagalelei is precisely that kind of player. But what shocked fans was the 61st pick, where the Lions would add a quarterback, Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. Many might ask, but why draft a QB if Jared Goff has been playing so well? The answer lies in the medium and long-term strategy. Hendon Hooker is still an unknown quantity, and Leavitt, at just 20 years old, has plenty of time to develop without immediate pressure. He has over 1,000 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions this season. And he also began his career at Michigan State, a detail that connects his roots to the region. This move shows that the front office is unwilling to be caught off guard regarding the future of the game's most important position. Moving up to the 129th pick, Texas A&M offensive tackle Trey Zuin emerges. This player boasts impressive stats, only 3 pressures and 1 sack allowed in 5 games, plus a sky-high pass blocking rating, 89.1, which is 3rd best in the country among tackles. Zuin has the profile of an immediate starter and could even step into the starting lineup as early as Week 1 if needed. The most interesting thing here is the flexibility he would bring. With Taylor Decker nearing the end of his career, Zuin could be prepared to take over at left tackle, while still opening up the possibility of reorganizing the line alongside Penei Sewell. This is what guarantees longevity and consistency for a team that has trench play as one of its greatest strengths. And anyone who thinks the front office will remain stuck with conventional picks is mistaken. There was even a trade with the Cleveland Browns to move up in the draft. Detroit sent picks 189, 207, and 242 to secure the 140th overall pick, showing that the plan was clear, to go after someone specific, and that name was Michael Toffee, a safety from Texas. Toffee has extremely high defensive ratings with a 90.7 in coverage and 87.4 against the run, which places him among the best safeties in the country. Despite already having Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, considered by many to be the best duo in the NFL, the Lions didn't want to miss the chance to add another versatile and aggressive piece to the secondary. It's Holmes and Campbell's philosophy: never settle, always add talent. With the 168th pick, the Lions would finally fill a need many fans have been asking for since last offseason: a solid tight end. The pick will be Lawson Lucky of Georgia. He's not the most flashy name in terms of receiving, but his blocking ability is impressive, with grades above 73 in pass protection and nearly 79 in run blocking. For a team that bases much of its identity on physicality and the running game, Lucky seems a perfect fit. And closing this simulation at pick 255 comes what many would call a shot in the dark: Keyshawn Silver, a defensive lineman from USC. A large player at 6'4" and 325 pounds, he hasn't yet established himself, but showed flashes of talent during his time at Kentucky, where he accumulated 10 pressures and a sack off the bench. He's a typical gambler, but if well developed, he could far exceed expectations for such a late pick. This simulation clearly demonstrates the Detroit Lions' mindset. It's not just about winning now, but about building a roster capable of sustaining success for years to come. An edge rusher, a quarterback of the future, a reinforcement on the offensive line, depth in the secondary, a physical tight end, and even a gamble on the defensive line. Each pick here has a strategic purpose, and that's what makes this projection so fascinating. Now I want to hear your opinion. Which of these picks surprised you the most? Did you like the idea of bringing in Sam Levitt as the quarterback of the future? Or do you think the Lions should invest all their money elsewhere? Leave a comment and let's discuss. And don't forget, like the video, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe now so you don't miss any updates about the Lions. Because the way this team is going, there is still a lot of exciting news to come.